Hello, everyone, and welcome to Volts and Amps. I'm your host, Armand, and I am joined here with three of our guests. First is Daniel Godoy. He's electrical engineer at Xtech. We have also Ermal Araksepi, product engineer, and we also have Ariane Dino, operational manager. The topic today is going to be the differences between the 12-volt battery that we have between ICE vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and EV vehicles. We're going to talk about degradation of the battery, conditions, and preventions of those degradations. We're going to start with a simple question that maybe all of us have wondered, or for those who don't have enough information, this is something not everybody knows. There is a 12-volt battery even in an EV vehicle. What will be the purpose of this battery in this sort of vehicles?
So the purpose of a 12-volt battery on a EV vehicle is to run the accessories. So the radio and everything else, the locking and unlocking of the doors. It's basically running all the accessories on the vehicle.
Okay, interesting. So I have a follow-up question now. If that battery dies, can you have access to your vehicle?
You could still have access to the vehicle. You'd have to use the physical key to get in it, but
Okay.
not through the key fob.
All right. So obviously, the importance of the 12-volt battery is still high, even in the electric vehicles. Is there any difference between hybrid vehicles and EV vehicles, or also the ICE vehicles? Are these 12-volt batteries different? Are they the same? Do they mostly play the same role? Any particular differences?
So the differences between these batteries, if you're considering the 12 volt in general, a lot of these EVs and hybrids will have a lithium ion battery versus like an AGM or a flooded battery.
Okay.
But it's still considered a 12 volt.
Okay. And then in terms of cycles, does that change?
So the 12-volt battery in an EV vehicle doesn't necessarily play the same role, right? So in your ICE vehicles, you're using the battery to start the engine. In the EV vehicles, you don't need that cranking power.
Okay.
You need a lot more, or you need more of the amp power instead of the cold cranking amps, as far as the size goes.
Okay. And then
Which is very interesting, sorry, because from our previous trade show in recent times, we had a lot of customers that came and saw us that did not know that fact. So that's very good to emphasize.
Okay, so now that we're also moving, or we're close to the winter season, I want to expand a little bit on how does the weather affect the degradation of the 12-volt battery. Does it affect the cycle? Does it affect the lifespan of a 12-volt battery? Does it need to be checked out a lot more often? Does it need to be recharged more often? Does the weather have any impact?
The weather does have impact on any battery, whether it's the EV battery or the 12-volt battery. So same thing with your ICE vehicles in the cold. If your cold cranking amps is if that portion of the battery is degrading a little bit and your state of health is becoming lower and lower, it is a good time to change your battery before the winter starts, or else you will be it won't be able to start the vehicle if it's really cold. Now on the EV side, that does affect it as well, not to the same impact.
Okay, I would say also, is this a common occurrence that a lot of people that use electric vehicles, maybe they forget to take care of their 12-volt battery? Maybe it's something like, oh, my car is electric, so I'm not even thinking about the 12-volt battery anymore. So I don't know, is there, because it's the same, you have to be like, you have to take care of the vehicle in general, but a lot of people just totally forget about that.
Well, you're talking about the regular consumers of the EV?
Regular consumers,
They're-
the everyday user.
Yeah, they're from my experience and from the people I've spoke to that have EVs, do tend to forget that there's a 12 volt there because it's not as big of a deal as it is, for example, on a normal vehicle, right? To them, they get in, the main battery is working, they turn on the vehicle and they go. Where on a regular vehicle, if that engine is not starting, first thing you would look at is the 12 volt battery to see if I can jump start it or replace it or whatnot. So,
And that also goes with maintenance intervals
Yeah.
as well. You know, you're getting your oil changed in an ICE vehicle every 5 or 10,000 miles, and at any oil change place, they'll do a quick check of your
Right.
battery, where your maintenance intervals for your EV vehicle will be different, and so you don't get those quick checks as
Exactly.
you would in your normal ICE vehicle. So that's also another reason why they tend to forget that portion of maintaining, or at least, you know, checking and testing that 12 volt battery.
Okay, and let's say if a user and a consumer of these electric vehicles, they have a problem with their vehicle, in a service center, what would be the first thing that we're checking and diagnosing on the vehicle? Are we starting with the 12 volt? Are we starting with the battery pack? I mean, obviously depending on the issue of the
I think
the car.
you check everything.
Okay.
If the car is in the shop, you check everything.
Okay.
So in the shopping, the first thing that technician does is check the diagnostic in the vehicle using a proper machine, a laptop or a diagnostic tool.
Okay.
And one thing that they check it is the battery. If the voltage is too low, probably they need to charge the battery or perform a diagnostic using a diagnostic tool or just a charge. Because depending of the vehicle, the BMS inform that the battery needs charge or needs to be replaced.
Okay.
Some kind of vehicles.
What's the most important elements that we have to check on the battery when we're diagnosing it? How does the technology checks for the state of health or state of charge?
So in the diagnostic, when we perform a diagnostic, or to perform the industrial diagnostic on the battery,
Okay.
that check the internal resistance, that test the load test. That's more important for IC vehicles.
Okay.
And also if the battery accepts charge too, because the battery is dimensioned for the vehicle to provide at least 50% of SLC. 50% of
50.
SLC is enough to start the vehicle, but is a kind of charge, the SLC, that can damage the battery. So it's the degradation of the battery is fast.
Mhm.
So the most important, check the voltage first, then you perform all the diagnostics on the battery.
The necessary diagnostics.
And for the EV vehicles, especially, the reserve capacity is critical. So you want to make sure that you're running also a reserve capacity test on that vehicle. Because it doesn't have the same role, you don't use the cold cranking amps like you would in an ICE vehicle. The amount of amp hours that the battery is able to provide, that's what you're testing at this point to get the state of health for the 12 volt battery for the EV vehicles.
Okay. Well, one of the questions that I might have seen, currently most of the dealerships are doing a replacement of the electric vehicle batteries when they have issues. Is the customer doing the same thing regarding the 12 volt battery? So are they more replacing them, or are they more checking on test results on diagnostic, and then or is it based on the dealerships? Do the dealerships diagnose and see if it was just a discharge or it's a bad battery?
If the consumer does take it to the repair shop,
So
the dealership would then take
Okay.
care of whatever it needs to do, whether they need to charge it or they need to replace it after they run the diagnostic. If the user is doing it themselves, more likely they would just end up replacing it without having all the
see.
proper tools to diagnose
because
the
they
battery.
don't have the proper tool to tell them,
Correct.
okay, is a savable battery or not.
No.
But I would assume that also with the new cars that we have nowadays, the cycle of the batteries are shorter than the previous batteries, or are they longer? would you like, based on data, do we see that the batteries are replaced a lot more often or less often? Because I know that now you might need more functionality when it comes to the cars, because you have a lot more things, more
The battery is being asked
is being
Yeah.
used
to
a lot
do
more.
more.
Yes.
They have more responsibilities
They have a lot more responsibility.
rather
So
than.
the battery technology for the 12 volt side has gotten a lot better. They're able to get a lot more cycles out of them right now. But also at the same time, with all the modules and everything that's
It's used more.
being put in the vehicles nowadays, it's being used more. So I think it evens out at this point. 3 to 5 years, you can possibly go, a little bit longer than that. But that's the usual life cycle of a battery, is about 3 to 5 years from what I've seen.
Okay, and let's talk also regarding electric vehicles and how long they could go on the road, how much miles the battery has in it, and then what can we do in a situation that a person gets stuck in the road. Let's say, I know that we're going to expand more on this on the next episode regarding the e-Jerrycan Rescuer.
Yep.
But I want you guys to talk a little bit, what does the e-Jerrycan Rescuer do, and how can it help you or any other scenarios that you might get stuck because your EV battery vehicle is out of juice.
Okay, strictly on the e-Jerrycan Rescue,
Yes.
right? I wanted to start off by basically sharing a very short story. I did speak to a business owner that all he does is rescues EV vehicles. Today, he's using a generator to go and rescue these EV vehicles. One thing that he said is it's very loud, okay, especially depending on where that vehicle is stuck, like a parking structure of some sort. He said it gets very annoying, and it's not very pleasant, especially for if there's apartments nearby and so on and so forth. But going back to e-Jerrycan, he liked it a lot because, one, it's very, very quiet, slim to none as far as sound goes. There's no sound at all. He's able to rescue vehicles in any location, if it's apartments, restaurants, nearby airports, whatever. And with the e-Jerrycan, the way it is today, you can charge the vehicle up to 15 to 20 miles range. Just enough for that vehicle to either make it to the next charging station or to a shop, depending on exactly what's wrong with the vehicle.
Okay. Well, we're actually going to move to the last segment of this episode. We're going to do just a couple of key takeaways, and then next we're going to do myth or true. We're going to have some statements, and then we're going to determine if they are actually true or not based on our knowledge that we have regarding automotive industry. The key takeaways from this episode are that obviously the conditions of the weather do affect the battery for good or for bad. Obviously the heat one and the cold can affect the battery to reduce the cycles of the battery or to need it more to take care of our 12 volt even electric vehicle batteries. So to the next step and the last one, I have a couple of questions for you guys. We can answer and debate freely. Myth or true, it will be letting your car warm up for several minutes in the morning is necessary. Is this truth or is it just a myth?
I believe it used to be true,
Okay.
but
Well,
with
yeah, that's what I was
the
gonna say.
technology that the vehicles have right now, you don't need it anymore.
Okay. I believe that also is true because by the new technology, as you said, it only takes about 30 seconds. And actually, driving, it warms the engine faster.
Yes.
Driving slowly, basically,
Yeah.
faster than actually just keeping it on. This is another myth. I don't think we need to discuss this a lot, but it says electric cars are slower than gas cars.
Slower?
Slower acceleration wise or top speed?
So not about acceleration, because we know that the EV car has more acceleration, but it says in general, not quick off the line, but just in longer ranges.
Like in a race or just
Not in a race.
or
just
driving?
Actually, it's not a bad question either. In a race, well, we're talking about drag races.
It depends. It
'Cause
depends.
in drag races, I don't think you can win against an electric car.
It depends on how you're using the vehicle.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're going on a 4-hour road trip and you're punching it, from 30 to 80 miles an hour every few seconds, or if you're keeping it constant, there's a big difference on your gas and your EV range.
Yeah,
Okay.
but on a 4-hour trip, I still prefer a gas engine vehicle instead of EV.
Well, because you're assuming that you're going to run out of.
And,
Range anxiety is real.
The anxiety is very real, and filling it up, it takes you 10 minutes.
To be honest, listen, with the car that I have, I think that's my range regardless, because I have to fill up my tank, because it only holds 11 gallons. But
well, regardless, you won't be sitting there for 2 hours to charge your vehicle.
no, that's true. I won't be staying for.
The
2
infrastructure is not there yet. Let's just say that.
Okay.
4 hours driving is you need to stop.
Yeah, or you can mount a generator in the
in
back.
in the summer, if you turn on the AC, of course you're gonna stop in 1 hour
Yeah.
to charge your vehicle.
That is true. Well, summer or winter, because then you're going to turn on the heat.
But the
so-
AC
It spends
consume
more.
more. Exactly.
Okay.
The AC consumes more, but also the cold affects the battery as well,
Yeah.
which lowers the range.
Okay. I have another one. This is personal experience, and I know the answer to it, let's say. But it says red cars cost more to insure.
Yes.
Yes.
It is true. It does. I think the most expensive one, it might be. Well, actually, this was who is more likely to get pulled over, which was yellow cars,
Yes. Followed by red cars.
followed by the red
Yeah.
cars. Yes, which is kind of unlucky for me because I drive a red car. But manual transmissions always get better fuel economy.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
That is very true. Modern cars.
Modern
the
automatic
technology-
Yes,
transmissions.
they get the same fuel efficiency.
If not better.
Yeah, if not better at this point.
Okay. This is another one. Bigger vehicles are always safer than the small vehicles.
Not necessarily.
Depend the speed
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
drive.
I would say a myth.
That is true. Well, that is true. It depends. It's very dependable on crash design, how the crash happened, technology, and weight distribution.
Also, big vehicles are bound to roll over.
Yeah.
More big vehicles, more energy.
Yeah.
And I also have the last one, something that I believe I know the answer to, but it has been always a debate. In a crash, would you say it's a better thing if the front of the car is more damaged or less damaged? Now, the idea behind it is that if it's less damaged, it means that the car itself did not get the impact, so it will distribute it to the driver more or whoever is the passenger. But if it gets crashed more, it's because the vehicle sucked all the force and it doesn't go back to the driver or the passengers. Because I know that it's the stigma is like, oh, if you don't get a lot of damage, oh, it's a great car, it's a strong car. But all that force and shock might go to the driver.
Well, I've seen vehicles with little damage in the front, and once they did their diagnostics on the vehicle, they found the frame to be bent. But then we've seen vehicles that had a lot of damage up front. The frame was not bent. So
It's all on how the accident
Yeah.
happens, and the way the cars are designed right now. They're either the frame is taking the damage,
Okay.
or the crumple zone is taking
Yeah.
the damage.
Yeah.
So you're
Well, you prefer the frame or the car to take the damage.
correct.
And rather
Yeah.
than
So
go to
right now, the way
passengers
the
on
vehicles
vehicle,
are
of
being
course.
designed, they're taking a lot of the momentum and a lot of the energy in the car itself, rather than transferring it to the passenger or to the driver. So cars are a lot safer now.
So
Yeah,
okay, so if I'm witnessing or I'm looking at an accident that just happened, and I was like, oh, that car didn't really have any damage to it. That shouldn't be necessarily a good thing.
Not always. No.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
I'd
case
say-
by case.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for this episode. Thank you, Daniel, for being with us. Thank you, Ormol, and also thank you, Arian.
Thank you.
You gave us some great feedback. And thank you, everyone who's been watching. We're
Thank
going to
you.
see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.